Hello CraftDee family, and welcome to another tutorial by She's So Crafty. For today's DIY projects, we will be creating some really cute spring home decor made with items from the Dollar Tree and other low-cost items. Now these projects feature a fresh farmhouse look, and it's accented with seasonal greenery and florals to brighten up your space. Now even though I chose a black and white theme, these ideas can be transformed to many types of decor by simply changing the color palette. Now as always, all of the projects I create have a complete supply list in the description box, so you can easily use it for reference as you gather your supplies. Now before we start, I have to say hey to all of my subscribers, and if you're a new visitor to my channel today, I hope you consider subscribing as well and stick around to enjoy these crafts and all the tips that I will share along the way. So now let's just jump right into the projects. Now this project is a pair of glass farmhouse vases. Now we're going to need 2 of these glass vases from the Dollar Tree. Now the first thing we're going to do is make sure our vases are really clean, and then we're going to take them out and give them a couple of coats of spray paint, and I'm using this white satin spray paint by Crayon, and of course you can use acrylic or chalk paint if you like. So now our vases are nice and dry, and we can start to customize them. Now I did want to give it a little bit of a rustic look, so I'm going to be using some black acrylic paint, and I'm going to grab a craft stick to use my craft stick method of distressing the vases. Now all I'm going to do is take that craft stick and drag it along the side of the vase, and as you can see, those little ridges on the vase picks up that paint perfectly. It gives it a really unique texture that I absolutely love, and you can apply as much as you like. Now once the body of the vase is accented, I'm just going to add a heavier coat around that top edge because it is a little thicker, and that completes this vase. This is what it looks like. And now I'm just going to repeat the process on our second vase, and both of them are done. So just let them sit to completely dry. So now our vases are nice and dry, and I decided I wanted to add some of this buffalo check ribbon to the vase to have it more of a cohesive farmhouse look. Now this is definitely completely optional. So what I did is I cut a piece of ribbon, and what I'm going to do is glue down and fold down the edge of one side, so when I wrap it around the vase, no raw edges of that ribbon will be shown. So I'm going to wrap it around the smallest part of the vase, and then I'm just going to glue one end on top of the other end with just the smallest dab of hot glue, because I want this to be removable. You don't want to add glue to the vase, you just want to add it to the ribbon just in case you want to remove it. So now I'm just going to make one of my little quick finger bows. I always get questions about this, so I will show you guys again. All I'm doing is placing the long tail of ribbon between my 2 fingers here, and then I'm going to wrap it around the thumb, the pointing finger, the thumb, the pointing finger, the thumb, and the pointing finger as many times as you want, and I'm doing it 3 times because I want a 3-loop bow. You cut that tail off, you're going to wrap it around the entire bundle, and then take that same tail and wrap it around the loop you just made and pull tight. And you guys, that is it to make a really cute, quick, easy bow for your project. So all you have to do now is just to separate your loops evenly, pull it a little tight, and then you just trim off and add a little dovetail end to your little bow, and that is it for this bow. Super simple and super easy. So now I'm just going to take this bow, and I'm just going to hot glue it in the center of that ribbon we placed on the vase, and that is it. I'm placing it on there, and you have this cute little final touch to the little vase. I just think it's absolutely adorable. And now I'm just going to do the other one, or you could just leave it plain just like it is, but I wanted a matching set, so here are both of my cute little vases with bows on them. So now here are these beauties on display, and I just love how refreshing these look. I added some yellow wildflowers from the Dollar Tree to give it that sweet spring touch, and I'm loving how bright and festive it looks. Now, the way that the texture was highlighted came out so great on these, and it was the perfect accent to fit into my farmhouse theme. Now, don't get too overwhelmed by the bow on these because it is completely removable. So here are the vases in a more neutral look without the bow. Now, this option really makes the texture shine, and it does not take away from any kind of filler that you choose to place inside. Now, you all have to let me know what you think of this project in the comments below. Now, this project is a wood and mesh decorative basket. We're going to need some Tumbling Tower blocks from the Dollar Tree. We're going to need some craft sticks from Lowe's for 98 cents. Now, we're also going to need a metal wastebasket from the Dollar Tree, or you can use this plastic gutter guard mesh from Lowe's. Now, we're going to start off with our Tumbling Tower blocks. Go ahead and grab your carpenter square. And the first set of blocks we're going to be joining together is 3 pieces. Now, I'm going to be using some wood hot glue for my project, but I definitely recommend wood glue to make this super sturdy. So I'm using my wood hot glue to put this together really quickly for you guys, and I'm just going to join the 3 blocks together, making sure you wipe away any glue that oozes out of the seam. Now, once you have your 3 pieces, we are going to repeat this to make a total of 8 sets, and here they all are ready to go. So the next set of blocks we're going to be joining together are rows of 5. Now, we're going to join these together the same way we did for our 3 block sets. Now, here is what it looks like, and we are just going to repeat this until we have a total of 4. Now, the last set of blocks we're going to be joining are sets of 2. Now, here's a 2-piece set joined together, and we are going to repeat this until we have a total of 4. So now it's time to put our basket together. So I'm taking 2 of the 3-piece sets for the sides and 2 of the 2-piece sets and sandwiching them in between the 3-piece sets. So I'm just going to start adding my adhesive to the end pieces of those 2 block sets, just making sure that that 2 block set always remains sandwiched in between the 2 3-block sets. And then we're going to close in that top end by adding our final 2 block set there. And then when you add it in there, definitely you want to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze and make sure that everything is nice and tight together until you form this little square here. And now we're just going to repeat it until we have 2 of these squares. So the second piece we're going to be doing are the sides of our little basket. So again, the 3 block sets will be the sides, and we're going to nestle in between 2 of the 5 block sets. Now we're going to join this the same exact way we did for the smaller sets, and here's what one looks like, and repeat it until you have a total of 2. Now you want to wait until these completely set and dry, and then we are going to go ahead and paint these. Now I'm going to be using my white chalk paint to paint these pieces. Now I'm going to be adding a couple of coats on the front side of the basket, so I'm just going to start by adding one of the coats on the front side and making sure you get the inside and the outside edges of the piece. Now here's one painted, and you want to repeat this until all of them are nice and painted, and once they're all painted, let that completely dry. Now once that top is dry to the touch, go ahead and flip them over, and this will be the inside of your basket piece. And then I'm just going to add 1 coat of chalk paint on these pieces on this side. And then once that's painted, let that completely dry. Now all of our pieces are finally dry, and we can move on to adding our mesh inserts. So like I mentioned in the beginning, you can use the Dollar Tree metal waste baskets. You could cut it apart with wire clippers or a sharp pair of scissors to cut out the shapes to fill in your wire mesh. But I found it so much easier to work with the gutter guard mesh that you can get from your local home improvement store, and this is only around $4 or $5, and you get 20 feet of it, so it does last a long time for a lot of projects. So what I'm going to do is take one of my side pieces of my basket, and I'm going to lay that gutter guard mesh right on top. Now how you want this to fit is you want the mesh to go halfway on the block, so one side of the block is exposed. So what I'm doing is taking my little chalk marker and I'm outlining my cut line so it'll fit perfectly on the piece. Now once that's done, I'm just going to go in with a pair of scissors and cut the shape out. This is really super easy to cut with scissors. And then I'm just going to double check the fit, and this is perfect. This is exactly how we want them to fit. Now since we have two of the side panels, I'm going to use this piece as a template, and I am going to cut out another piece the same exact size, and I'm just going to trace the outline with my marker again and then cut that out as well. So now I have my two side panel mesh pieces. I'm just going to repeat the same process for my end pieces, making sure that they fit the same way. So now all of our pieces are cut out. We can start applying the mesh to the inside of our basket. Now I'm just going to take my wood hot glue and I'm going to run a bead on one side of the inside of the basket and place the very end of my mesh piece right on top of that glue. Now in order to help it stay in place, you could definitely use some Dollar Tree clips. This actually helps during application. Now once that dries a little bit, we're going to add a bead of glue on the top and the bottom inside edge, and then lay that remainder of the mesh into that glue and let that dry. And then we can finally add the glue to the end to seal the end in. Now after all of this dries, I'm going to follow up with my staple gun, and I'm just going to add just a few staples around it. Now I didn't want to add too many staples in the beginning because these are blocks that are adhered together, and I didn't want to compromise the structure. But once it is dry, it does look really good, and now you just repeat it for the rest of them the same way. And now we can start adhering our box together and building it up. So I'm taking one of the short ends and adding it to the inside edge of one of the long ends. Just add a bead of your glue of choice and then sit that end piece right on the edge, making sure the top and bottoms are aligned. Now once it does set, add another bead of glue on the inside edge. This just adds a little bit more reinforcement since I am gluing together painted surfaces and I didn't want these coming apart. So I'm going to repeat this on the other side the same way, adding that line of glue, pressing your side in place, and then once that does get secured, add your strip of glue in that seam for that piece. And now we can finally add the top piece on. So after it's sat, it is nice and dry, and oops, I forgot to paint a side, but we will be touching that up. So now our box is nice and solid. So we're going to flip it with the good side facing down, and we're going to work on the bottom of our box. So to cover it up, I'm going to be using these craft sticks. I love using these craft sticks from Lowe's. They're 98 cents for now, so load up while you can. And I'm just going to lay these across the bottom opening. Now to adhere these, I'm just going to add some wood glue or some wood hot glue along that bottom edge, and I'm only going to allow enough glue on there to adhere one stick at a time. If you do a long line and start adding sticks, your glue will dry too quickly and it won't have secure connections, but you just want to add all of these sticks until your opening is entirely covered as shown here. So now I'm just going to lay down my cutting mat and take my utility blade and just run it across the edge of those sticks a couple of times, and they'll just come right off, giving you a nice clean edge on the bottom edge of your basket. We're going to repeat this for the other side, and now all of the edges are nice and trimmed. And now we're going to go ahead and paint the bottom of the basket along with that edge we forgot to paint earlier, and I am going to use my chalk paint. Now when you paint the inside, you just definitely want to be careful. Don't get any paint on the mesh. You just want to make sure you get around the edges first and then cover the entire bottom of the basket. And then once that's done, you get to flip it over and paint the bottom. And here it is, all nice and painted, and let it sit to completely dry. And now the basket has sat for a little while. It is nice and dry, and I love it. It looks wonderful, and I can't wait to decorate it. And how awesome is this cute little basket? I just love how it turned out. Now I added some greenery bundles from IKEA, but you can use this for the bath, organization, or even in the kitchen. Now the mesh panel accent is really nice, and if you don't want black, this can be easily painted any color you like to match your taste and style. You all have to let me know, where would you use this cute basket in your home decor? Now this project is a decorative storage jar decor piece. I'm going to be using 2 of these small plastic lidded containers from the Dollar Tree. Now the first thing we're going to do with the container, one of them I want to paint white just to show you a variation. So what I'm going to do is paint one of these little jars with my white satin spray paint by Krylon. Now I am going to be painting both of these lids, and I am going to also spray paint those black. So here's everything all nice and dry. I have the black lids and one of my containers is white to show you a different perspective on how you can paint these. Now I'm going to be adding labels to mine for decoration, and I designed these myself. So one of them is this Farm Fresh. This is actually printed out on cardstock, and I like to adhere these with a little Mod Podge when I put them on my projects. Now another option for this Farm Fresh sign is I printed this out on mailing label paper, so you can actually just peel and stick this to your project. The last option is if you have a cutting machine, I have created an SVG file that you can also use if you choose, and you can apply this to your project. Now all of these variations are included down in the description box, free to use. So I'm going to start off with the little clear container, and I'm going to be applying the sticker label to this one. Now the first thing you need to decide is whether you want it standing straight up or do you want it sitting on its side, and I decided the side orientation was the best choice for me. So I'm just going to peel off that little mailing label sticker, and I'm just going to center it on my little jar. Just really cute and easy, and if you want to seal this, you can definitely put Mod Podge on this. You just want to make sure that your ink is completely dry. So now I'm going to work on the little white container, and for this one I am going to use my cutting machine file to do this. I'm just going to make sure I peel back that transfer tape, removing all of the parts of my design, and then all you have to do is center it on the white container. So simple, cute, and easy. Now you just want to slowly peel back that transfer tape, making sure you don't remove any of the paint, and this worked perfectly. And now you have a cute Farm Fresh little jar. So now you can place these on display and decorate them however you wish. So here are both of my cute little jars, and I think they are just simply adorable. Now these turned out so great, and they're perfect for storing little trinkets. Now, if you decide that you want to put edibles in these, you want to make sure to choose a paint that is non-toxic for your safety. Now, I hope that you all give this super easy project a try. Now, this project is a large decorative bead decor. I'm going to need some ping pong balls, and you can get these from the Dollar Tree. You could even use the little pom-poms or bunny little butts, the bunny butt tails for this project as well. You're also going to need some fabric of your choice, and I picked up this little checkered fabric from Joann's. So I'm going to start off with the fabric, and what I did is I cut a strip the width of the fabric, which was about 23 inches, and it's going to be a 5.5 inch strip. You're just going to lay it down, and you're going to fold the good side on each other and make sure those ends match up. What you want to do is either use a fabric glue, you want to sew, or adhere the edge all the way down the entire strip. Now what I am going to do is take it to my machine and just run it a quick stitch down the side so everything is nice and secure. So all you have to do now is to flip the right side out. Now you could take a long safety pin to do this, or you can maneuver it with your hands. I'm just going to use this little bodkin tool that I have in my sewing room. I'm just going to run it through, and it just to turn this whole tube the right side out. and you just want to make sure that everything comes out nice and even. Okay, so now our tube is turned right side out and we can start working on our decor piece. So now I'm just going to grab my ping pong balls for this project. Now I actually bought a huge bag of them a while back from Amazon, so I am going to be using these as well. And I'll link these in the description box as well in case you guys are interested in a larger bag. So I want to take one end of my tube and I'm just going to go ahead and put a clip on it, so when I start adding my ping pong balls to the tube, they don't fall out the other end. So I'm going to be adding a total of 12 balls. So that would be 2 Dollar Tree size packages of these. And I'm just going to start there working on my project, adding 12 of them. So all 12 are actually inside of my tube right now. So now you can start adding the little separation. Now to separate these are really easy. All I'm going to use is some yarn, and I picked this up from the Dollar Tree a while back. So I had some black yarn. You can use any kind of thread, yarn, or whatever method that you choose to use to make these a divided piece. So I'm just going to cut some pieces, probably about 10 inches a piece. And for the very end of my piece, what I'm doing is I'm going to wrap that yarn 3 or 4 times around really tight, and I'm tying a triple knot in that yarn. Now once that's done, all you have to do is cut another piece. You're going to squeeze the fabric really tight at the bottom underneath that first ball, wrap it around 3 or 4 times, and tie another triple knot. Now this is the process that I'm going to use for all of the balls in my tube. Now here are the first 6 of them. This is what it's looking like. So I'm going to continue with the last 6. Now here are 12 of the balls all tied into place, and this measures about 18 inches. Now since I had some extra room, I added 6 more balls for a total of 18 balls in my long 23-inch tube. So all I'm doing now is I'm going to go ahead and just trim off of the ends for a decorative accent, and then trim off all of the yarn strings that are tied in between each one of the balls. And here is what my strand looks like. So simple and so easy. Now I love decorating with beads, but I think that this would be super cute for farmhouse decor or whatever decor you may like. Now you could even use this as a part of some wreath decor. If you add this to a wreath frame, I think this would be adorable, and then you can decorate it for all seasons. So many uses for this little piece. But for me, I am just going to use it as an accent piece on my table for my decor. And there you have it, you guys. How easy was that? Now this piece was so fun to make, and it can be used in so many ways in your decor. Now I really had fun creating all these fun and easy projects today, and I hope that they have inspired you. Now as always, I do love them all, but let me know in the comments which one of these was your favorite today. Listen, if you love DIYs on a budget, please give this video a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Make sure that you're following She's So Crafty EE on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest for the latest news, sneak peeks, and giveaways. Now, if you like videos like these and you don't want to miss the next one, make sure you're subscribed by clicking that subscribe button below, or just click on my She's So Crafty logo on your screen, and make sure you hit that bell to be notified when the next DIY goes live. It's absolutely free. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.